Hello all, welcome to the course called Flutter Mobile Application Development. In this course, we are going to learn about the basic fundamentals of the Flutter application development along with some advanced topic where we are going to create awesome projects. We have basically divided the Flutter application development course into 8 different categories. The first category is the Flutter overview, followed by the that Flutter setup, and at last we will end up our application development course by project first and a project second. In the first section, that is a Flutter overview, we are going to discuss about the basic introduction of the Flutter. What do you mean by Flutter? Flutter is one of the game-changing framework for building natively compiled applications for different platforms, including the Android and iOS. We will discuss all of those things into this subtopic. In the second, we are going to discuss about the architecture of the Flutter. What are the basic components that we need to learn in order to create our Flutter application? Flutter features, where we will discuss important features of the Flutter and why Flutter is one of the popular framework for building native applications. We are going to discuss those things in our course. Similarly, we'll learn about the popularity of the Flutter. There are different alternatives of the Flutter, and one of the most popular alternative of the Flutter is React Native. We will discuss why Flutter is better than the React Native as well. Also, we'll learn about some of the use cases of the Flutter. The second section contains the Dart programming language. In this Dart programming language, at first we will discuss about the introduction to Dart, followed by the syntax of a Dart. Dart is one of the most important programming language, and we have to code everything for the Flutter by using a Dart programming language. That's why this section is very much important for us. So we will learn everything from the basic. Don't worry if you are new to the world of the programming. We'll discuss everything from the fundamental, and we will also discuss about the object-oriented programming of the Dart. The object-oriented programming is very helpful in order to create project in the Flutter. There are different libraries that are available in the Dart and Flutter. I will show some examples while doing our project as well. Similarly, at last, we will discuss about the best practices, how to write the clean code, how to write the manageable code that will help us to learn in the future as well. In the third section, we'll discuss about the setup of the Flutter. In order to build the applications using Flutter, we have to do some setup in our machine. Don't worry if you have either Windows or a Mac operating system. We will do setup on both operating system. So at first we will install Flutter in our machine. Then we will set up an IDE. In the IDE, we will use VS Code, and IDE is one tool where we are going to write our program which will help us to execute the code we have written, and we can see the result in our simulator or emulator. So while creating the project, we have to create Flutter project and run the Flutter application or a Flutter project by using IDE and different tools that we will discuss later. Similarly, we'll discuss about the debugging the Flutter application. While writing code, we will encounter different issues. We may find bug in our application. At that time, it is very much important for us in order to debug our code. There are different tools available to debug our code, and we will discuss those things as well. And at last, we'll also look on the different resources that are available over the internet. There are plenty of different documentation and the resources, and I'll share you some of the important resources, some of the official resources of the Flutter as well, and these resources are very much important for us during our development time. So after the Flutter setup, we will learn about the widget. Widget is one of the crucial part of the Flutter development. Everything that we see on our screen on a mobile application is a widget. There are basically two different type of widget. The first one is a stateless widget and the second is a stateful widget. There are different predefined widgets as well, and there we have to use our custom widgets as well. So for that we need to learn about the custom widgets here. So here we can learn about the custom widgets as well. We will learn about the custom widgets. Similarly, we will also look upon the gesture detection. What happens whenever the user presses on a button or do a long press on any component. We will run all of the function and functionality while gesture detection in our application as well. So basically widget is the most important component, and we will learn about different defined function that is defined by the Flutter as well, and we will create our own custom widgets as well. And it is very much important to differentiate between the stateless widget and a stateful widget, and in what condition should we have to use stateless widget and in what condition should we have to use stateful widget. That is very much important thing to determine. So we will discuss those things during the widget section. The next section is a Firebase. Firebase is one of the very much important tool that is given by the Google. Here Firebase can be used as a server as well. So we'll discuss those things. Also, we can authenticate our application using Firebase. We can implement login using email or password, or login using Google, Facebook, or any other social media using a Firebase. Also, we can use Firebase as our backend server to store the database as well. So we'll discuss those things. The sixth segment is a networking. Here we will learn about the networking, and the most important thing to learn about the networking is to learn about the HTTP request. There are different requests: post, get, create, patch. There are differences between those requests as well. So we will learn about those different operations. The most important thing while handling the response from the HTTP is the JSON parsing. So we will discuss from very basic concept about the JSON, how to parse them, and how to secure our network call as well. In the project at first we will look about the overview of the project first and how to do the setup of the project. In the first project, we will learn how to implement all of the widgets that we will going to learn in this series. And the name of the first project is, I'll just mention the name of the project, and the name of the project is To-Do. And in this project, first we are going to implement the API call as well. So at first we will discuss overview of the project. We will do some setup for the project, also design the user interface and implement the API of the To-Do, and at last we are going to test and debug our application whether there is any issue or not, and if we find any issue then we will be going to resolve those issues as well. And the last segment is the project second, and in this segment we are going to create social media application, and the name of the application is a society. In this application as well, we are going to set up the project at first and design the user interface. Basically here we are going to post some of our data and other person can view those posts as well. So we need to integrate our API here as well. And while integrating this API, we are going to use Firebase as a backend server. At last, we are going to test and debug this application as well. And if we face any issues in this application, we are going to resolve those issues in testing and debugging section. And by doing all of these things, we are going to wrap up our course. And I think after we complete our project first and project second, you will get enough knowledge and confidence in order to create your own stunning Flutter applications as well. I'd like to welcome to all of the students who are going to join in this series, and I hope this series will be beneficial for you in order to upgrade your skill in the mobile application development. Thank you.